Hi, moguls. Welcome to the show. Today we have an amazing guest. You're going to love him. We have Joey Isaks. He's an international advantage bettor, and he has been betting professionally for years, and we're extremely lucky to have him on our show today. Welcome to the show, Joey.
Thanks for having me. I love your show. Hi, moguls.
See, he listens to the show, everyone. Joey, where are we recording live with you today?
Today, I'm in my office in beautiful Studio City.
Great. So he's in Los Angeles, and actually, it is a Valentine's weekend, but we will be recording this early, and he'll be out in a couple months. So, Joey, I wanted to ask you, how did you get into sports betting?
Same as I think every single male. It was a little different now that it's everywhere now on commercials and everything. But when I was, I guess, 16, first my grandfather worked or was always at a casino. I don't know if he worked there, and so it was just in my DNA, I guess. And so I like everybody, I sucked in the beginning. I lost, and eventually just not one day, but over time became an advantage bettor, as you say, which means every bet I place, I have a slight advantage over the casino, almost like a card counter.
Oh, wow. So how did you learn to get this advantage?
Through truthfully, a lot of networking, a lot of hard work. It's not the most fun and glamorous thing that I think it's portrayed as. It's a ton of hard work and a ton of networking and a ton of skill.
Yeah, like is it like you have to have a lot of mathematical skill, or is it memory?
You do. I think you either need a lot of mathematical skills or a lot of networking skills to network with people who have the mathematical skills. I don't think it's possible to win if you just sit and watch sports and say this team is better than the other. They're gonna win.
Okay.
It's a market.
Yeah, and now when you say sports betting, so what kind of sports is it? Basketball? Is it fantasy? What kind of sports?
So fantasy is different.
Okay.
So I bet almost every sport, and I try to bet anything from a lot of props, which is how many points a player will score, or how many, let's say NBA, how many rebounds, anything to as small as NBA team to score first. Basically, anything that I think is beatable or I can gain an edge, which is mostly small markets. I will bet. I'm not trying to really beat spreads, where you can get a lot of money down, because I don't think that is very beatable. So for anyone listening that wants to get into it, that is probably the best way, which is to start with something small and beatable. And then when you are no longer satisfied with, let's say, having $10,000 on something in a night, you can go to something where the limits might be a lot higher.
Okay, great. So so basketball. What about the Super Bowl? Is that something that you bet on this year?
Yeah, the Super Bowl, I bet everything from the national anthem at the Super Bowl this year. We were, like I said, networking. I was one of the people who got info on how long the national anthem was before it was pulled. I know ESPN had an article about it being pulled and stated some people, and I was lucky enough to get the information first. So that is a big part of sports betting, is can you get that information first and fastest, and can you have the technology to use that information to get it before it's pulled. So I was lucky with that. And then I bet anything from, I did bet Tampa Bay, and I bet a lot of props that lost. So yeah, Super Bowl's, as they say for bettors, the bettors Super Bowl too.
Oh, so I didn't even know you could bet on the length of the national anthem at the Super Bowl. Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. So it's from everything from basketball to football, soccer, baseball. So how has it been since there's been no live sports? Just bet. Do you go online, or where do you bet sports?
Yeah, so a large part of betting is done through mobile devices, and even if you live in Nevada, you can open an account and bet mobile. Sports came back recently, but in Corona, I know the podcast Love Stories. So in Corona, with no sports, a lot of people shifted to betting video games and simulations. And one of the best stories of Corona was we were betting esports, which is people playing like video games against each other. And the team that we bet on, and we bet way too much money on this, but they lost their internet connection after having a big lead. So weird things like that have been happening in Corona times. So
Oh yeah, because when I record, sometimes we have like the internet goes in and out on Zoom or Google Meet. Oh my gosh! So do you think the internet was plugged on purpose when you on your team, or
no. I'm not a big conspiracy theory or fixed person, that thinking person, but some people are.
oh my gosh, you're like, hey, someone did it on purpose, so I would.
Yeah.
So okay, so you can go online. So, as their favorite places, are you allowed to mention any names that like that you would that's your favorite online places to bet?
So if you're in Vegas, what people love is Circa. That's probably like the place to check out. If you're betting, let's say the black market, which is where most sports betting takes place still, you just have to find a reliable bookie that you trust. So that's the majority. Even professionals, even whatever, they bet mostly. It's called off-screen PPH, pay-per-head books, and that's where the majority of betting takes place for pretty much anyone who's actually in the industry.
Wait, what is this called? It's off.
It's called pay-per-head. So the bookie pays per head, like a $6 to host players to the site.
Okay, really interesting. So yeah, so your favorite casino you said was it's Circus Casino in Las Vegas, or was that just
CIRCA is great. It's the new like kid in town. They take big bets, which is not seen in Vegas by places like William Hill, which is something that beginners don't have to worry about. But it's just nice that they're like a legitimate, willing to take professional action. And my favorite casino in general is Aria, just because I love Cirque du Soleil, but which is actually at Bellagio. But I like Aria. I like staying there.
Okay, great. I just remember when we stayed there. My friend actually we stayed at the Four Seasons, which is the only place that doesn't have gambling in it, and it was very quiet and very posh. But we walked around and we went to Bellagio and we went to Caesars and the place that has the what do you call it? The big hurricane wave, the wave and the lazy tire around it. I forget what. Yeah, Mandalay. So okay, so you're in Vegas. What about internationally? Did you have a favorite casino outside of the USA?
I've never been to Macau, or I know Australia has great casinos. Macau is probably the place outside of America that's known for gambling the most. Those places. But no, I do not have a favorite outside of the USA that I can really say to recommend. Macau's supposed to be interesting place.
Well, which I was leading to my question that I'm going to be asking you. So there's a place called the nice posh hotel called the Ritz in London, and somebody was playing Baccarat. Can you tell us this game Baccarat in the story? Because I want to tell our listeners. I don't know if our listeners really know about this, but Joey Isaks, did you really win $24 million at the Ritz in London playing Baccarat?
So yes, the short answer is yes. In many ways, I got approached by a crazy guy who I knew, and he asked me to recruit a guy in Malaysia who couldn't lose at Baccarat, and we would fund him, and us three would split it, blah, blah, blah. He ended up winning $24 million at the Ritz over a 3-day period, starting with $6 million of chips. It actually took 3 weeks to get the Ritz to approve his play because he was a no-name. We had to fake internet stories. It's not an easy process to just show and play with $6 million. It's called a bank guarantee. A lot of things go into it, but the then yes, the play started and $24 million was won, and then chaos ensued, I guess, between a lot of people. And the long answer is the money was never really received. It's a long story, but yes, the actual play part, yes, it is true.
Wow. So you guys won together, the three of you won 24 million, but then you didn't get the money. Wow, that's a story. We're gonna have to I see a movie. I see a movie. I was
movie.
yeah.
One only Aaron, the kid from Malaysia, played.
Oh, only the kid. And how did you guys know about this kid from Malaysia? Like, what was his story? Because you said he was a no name, right?
He was found on a Craigslist. It's a very Baccarat's all luck, so anyone can play. If you just know, it's an all luck game. So we just needed anybody who fit the mold of a whale in our minds, and he did, and he got extremely lucky. Basically, only.
You found him on Craigslist. On Craigslist. And he's called a whale. Like, I'm a girl. I'm like, well, I love dolphins, but so
a huge casino player, and we needed him to appear as one. That's why we had to leak fake internet stories of him partying with Jolo or the socialites in Malaysia, which all ended up being fraudulent themselves. But
oh my gosh, so they need PR and press and hype to play. Like like you said, like networking.
He was a nobody with no money. So when we were trying to fund him and make it appear that he had $6 million to play with, yeah, we had to fake his lifestyle.
So because you can't play without a bankable person.
So what the casino does is they do what's called a bank guarantee, where they will send random numbers to the bank account, and the bank has to verify that same number over like a 6-day period, so that when play starts, they lock the bank account. And so if there's $6 million in it and you lose, $6 million is withdrawn. And if you win, you can withdraw it. So there's no cash or there's no nothing. It's just a strict bank to bank, which at the end of the day, for people investing in casino stocks, that is what you're investing in. Is casinos are basically banks.
Ah, and would you bet on casinos? Because usually the casinos usually win, right? Is that true, or is there?
They all win. They're great long-term investments, all of them.
Oh, I like that. Oh, and this is our disclaimer. I am not a licensed broker. You're not a licensed broker. So do your due diligence. Your investment is your own risk, and you have. So if you lose, it's not our fault. So that's our disclaimer. And all investments are risky. Yes, yes. But but there's like certain due diligence. Like if the banks, the casino house usually wins, then those are odds that might look interesting to someone to do their due diligence and make their own decision if they want to invest. Because right now during the pandemic, casinos have been they were up before pandemic, and then they went down, and some of them are still kind of at attractive numbers if someone wanted to invest long term, right?
Yeah, they've all been doing great recently. You don't need to, in states that are legalizing sports betting, you don't need to go to a physical casino at all. You can do it all through mobile. So they're doing great.
So you can go online.
Like DraftKings and Penn, you don't need to physical locations would help, but they're doing great. People are home all day gambling their money away, so they're in great position to make a lot of money. The problem is that they spend a lot of money, and they probably spend too much money. So they're not profitable.
The casinos?
DraftKings and Penn and those, they have a lot of debt.
Oh, so DraftKings has a lot of debt, but the casinos are better than like the apps then?
No, I mean that is the casinos, but their casinos are just, they're spending a lot of money to bring in players. So it's a player acquisition kind of game. Once you get a player to like basically be like, I'm going to use DraftKings, that costs a lot of money for them to acquire the player with advertising and those things. But once they have the player, they're going to make a lot of money.
Okay. Yeah, because we discussed DraftKings on Girls Guide to Investing, and so we're hoping that our listeners are going to be future Mongols, and that
I'm a
because
shareholder. I'm a shareholder.
yeah, I did too. I think I got in after like 45, so I mean it's at around 60 something right now. But that's
Yeah.
whatever. So is there favorite uh is there like the top like things that people bet on, or like what are some of the craziest things that you bet on like in sports?
Me or a generic person?
A generic.
Okay, so a generic person loves to bet on NBA, like right now, NBA, NCAA basketball, and most of them bet on what's called spread and total. So spread would be I'm betting that Duke will win if they're like -7 by over 7 points, and a total you'll see next to it, which will be like say 140, and you can bet over or under, and you basically are betting how many points will be scored in that game. Those are the two most popular bets to
Oh,
do. Um, and an advantage better would basically get, let's say, over under 140, and the line will close at 137 and a half. And if you do that over and over again, you will probably make money over the course of the year.
oh, okay, really? And now, do people is college like college games back, like college football, college basketball? Are those back yet? See, I'm like a girl. I don't really.
Yeah, no, it's great. College football ended. Alabama won. College basketball is mid-season, and I bet it every day, but I don't think I've watched one game this year. But
Oh my gosh.
going on. It is going on.
Oh, okay, go Gators. I'm a Gator.
Oh, cool. I think they're good. I know that one of their players had like a heart attack on court. I think their best player, but I think they're
Oh.
good.
Oh wow, gosh, that's so it's not very when you see that you're like, oh my gosh. So and then is so professional sports like the NBA, like you said, and football. What about soccer? Because USA are we don't really have a big soccer yet, right?
No, but you can bet. Soccer is one of the biggest. I think behind cricket, which I don't bet, but soccer is a huge sport to bet, and it's just a very hard sport to beat.
Oh, okay.
So, especially the big leagues like the English Premier League, you'll hear the term like the lines are really tight, which it's really hard to find any advantage. So the idea in sports betting is that I'm making my own line and I'm comparing it to the line that the casino gives out, and I'm hoping my line is better than theirs. And a lot of times, if you have a good model, you're going to be in a league like the English Premier League, similar to their line that they give out. So you're not going to find much of an advantage.
Okay. And then you said cricket. Is that like
I've never dabbled in that, but I've heard it's huge. I think a
oh
lot of people in India, which is, I know your show is huge in India. And cricket's a huge popular sport to bet on, which I've never even attempted. But yeah,
okay. And what about horse racing or like the Brown Derby and stuff? Have you bet on any of the like horses?
I did in the pandemic, but not on a usual basis. But in the pandemic, you're basically horses are also tough to beat. But you can bet horses. It's a pari-mutuel fund. So if you bet on a horse, it's 6-1, and everyone starts betting on him, and he goes to 3-1. You get 3-1. So it's really hard to beat that. But you can also find fixed odds, which means that you can bet 7-1, and no matter what he closes at, you get that fixed odds that you bet, which was 7-1, let's say. And so we would find races that was bad weather and like half the field dropped out, and we would get fixed odds, and if that makes sense.
Yeah. So back to sports. So you said what's one of your favorite I guess fields that you bet in? Was it basketball or you said the one that you won almost every day at quarantine?
Esport. No, I'm not betting that much anymore. I'd say my favorite sport to bet is baseball, actually.
Oh.
Um, yeah, baseball, and I like with the NFL, you get a lot of options, especially with player props. There's so many props on a Sunday to choose from, and you can find a lot of advantages on that. And it's just you can also get down a lot of money easily without it raising much of a red flag. So I definitely prefer those sports, but more than college basketball, where you're betting, let's say, a tiny college that no one's heard of, and it just raises a lot of red flags if you win, and if you don't win, it's not the most fun. So
Okay. So football is a good sports to bet on, you said, for
I
advantage
think
wise?
so.
Okay.
I think so. I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah. And like can you bet on like I'm a girl, like colors and stuff or people's heights
Yeah.
or you can
Sorry, what'd you say?
on like colors or height or people's heights or are you just like they're just different sports things like how many yards or how many points? So
So props are usually nothing with colors that I am aware of, but I think most of the props would be like if there's a quarterback, you can bet how many touchdowns he'll throw, how many yards, how many rushing yards the quarterback will have, how many, I said touchdowns, how many completions he'll have, all sorts of things.
oh, that's really cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I wanted to know, like, when you said it took 3 days for your team or the guy in London playing Baccarat to win $24 million. So 3 days. So do you get breaks, or how long are you at the Baccarat table? Like, how long does it take to win? Like, are you physically at the table with $6 million chips? Like, are you there 24 hours? Do you have a break? Do you get to go home? What was that like?
I mean, it's a casino. They're open 24 hours a day. You can sit there for 72 straight hours, which I know people who have and have lost a lot of money, or you can come and go. So yeah, we saw. I mean, he played a lot of hours, and we definitely revved it up the last day, just going for the kill.
So did he take a break and go home to sleep? Or you guys are literally in the hotel for 3 days?
He took breaks. It was a tense. We it's stuff that I don't even really remember at this point. It's been 6 years maybe, but like we did definitely give him breaks and take his passport so he couldn't leave the country.
You took his passport. Did you have bodyguards for him? You locked him up in the room. Oh my god.
The casino, I mean, he's not leaving with any money, but um, it was it was a deal. It was a matter of he is the only one that could click the cash out basically button to the bank account, and he wanted to be paid before uh, he wanted to be paid before he cashed out because he was worried if he cashed out we wouldn't pay him his share, and because that happens to a lot of people in that country as white people come, not to say it in a mean way, but white people use Malaysians as workers and then don't pay them. So credit to him, he wanted to be paid, but we did not have his share, which was $3 million cash lying around to just give it to him. So that's what took months and months of arguing, and yeah.
Wow. That's very interesting. Oh my gosh. So I want to know, was there any stories, any crazy stories winning and being followed or
In general,
when you won?
are we talking sports or baccarat?
Both.
Sports gambling. I mean, it's pretty vanilla. You win, you get asked to not bet anymore, and hopefully you get paid.
You wait, when you win, they say, listen, you're no more betting for you, sir. You're a winner.
Oh yeah, no, that's mostly sports betting. Is once you start winning, they don't want to take your bets anymore. But if you're smart enough to beat something that's very hard to beat, which is sports betting, you're probably smart enough to figure out how to what's called beard, which is a lot of stuff that I do is bet for other people. So if you're smart enough to be able to beat the betting market, you're smart enough to beard back in, which is get someone to place your bets for you, basically.
Oh wow, it's a whole little world over there. Like this is
Yeah.
definitely
Ashton Kutcher was a beard for prominent sports bettor. The
really.
word on the street is, yeah, he would go to Vegas every week and place football bets for someone, and they didn't bat an eye at first because he's this celebrity.
Oh my gosh.
So
And they're like, so he was a beard. Oh, wow. Can they
yeah, that's the word.
oh, can they be a wig? Like a female version of a beard? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just making that
Yes,
up.
I actually tried to get a girl to do it for me like years ago, But yeah.
So if everyone sees me walking to the casino, they're like, "Oh, she's a wig." Yeah, there's Girls Guide to Investing. It's like, yeah, no, I'm here just checking it out. I had so many guests that they're winning this money. I want to try my hand at winning $24 million, but if you don't have the
Right.
6 million, you're probably not going to get it. So, were you ever followed or anything like that from a casino?
No, because sports betting, you don't. I mean, you don't even. You just get a ticket, and it's. Yeah, no,
So
it doesn't really happen in sports betting.
So for sports betting, it just goes straight to your bank, right? It's on the app and it goes in the bank, or they take the money.
Yeah, it would. But blackjack, they'll walk you out and make sure that you don't come back. It's called a Griffin list, and if you're on that Griffin list, your facial recognition will alert the casino pretty quickly to kick you out. But I'm not on that list. So there's no version of that with sports that I'm aware of.
Oh wow, my gosh!
They'll just put at the counter, no thank you, or they'll just say, you'll say, I want to have $5,000 on this college basketball game, and they'll say you can have $200. That's more of what happens than being followed. It's a friendly cat and mouse game.
So have you ever thought of creating your own sports betting app or?
No, I've invested in a couple businesses in sports betting. I think there's some good ones, but for the majority of it, it's all kind of garbage out there. Which would mean there should be something good, but it's a really hard app industry to crack because there's a lot of the apps that get created are what's called like bet trackers, where you can like track your betting, and because every single person pretty much loses, who wants to track just basically sucking at something?
It sounds like a lot of fun. Do you have like friendly rivals or with other advantage bettors, or like y'all friendly rivals, or how does that work between friends and other players?
You try to use friends as like a information kind of portal, like sharing information, like here's a good bet, and that's the thing, is that the best way to get into it is being someone who can kind of get down a lot of money. So people that are smarter than you use you for when they have something good, and they know to go to you because you can help them. So if you can figure out a way to be helpful to other people, people will talk to you and share information. And yeah, if people can make money with you, they'll talk to you. But there's no really rivals. I mean, it's all friendly and it's all kind of lonely, I guess, at the same time, because you're just doing it alone.
You're home alone. Yeah. Well, yeah. And I think sports betting like increased during COVID, right? Like people are just home, just like you said, the esports games was really huge online as well.
Yeah, I think that it's booming in general. I mean, the numbers are staggering, and it's only going to get bigger. I don't have the actual numbers from Corona, but I assume, there's people are trying to probably pretty much do this as a job and it's really sad because I don't think that it's possible to really do for 99.99% of people, and it's not great right now for people who can't get a job and they're going to try this for various reasons.
Yeah, people have been trying day trading, and some people are successful. They told me, like, I know a bartender. He's like, "This I'm bartending. That's gravy for me." And I've been like day trading and making all kind of money. And I've asked some day traders to come to the show, but they're so busy and I'm winning, and they're like, "Give me a second." I go, "We want to know because when people lost their jobs, people told me their boyfriends started day trading, making some money because people, a lot of people lost jobs. A lot of artists needed their hostess job, their waitress job, their bartending job. A lot of people, just face it, are hourly workers. There's like 10% of the people are multimillionaires, and maybe others are like people like doctors and lawyers that can ride the wave longer. So so it's really interesting. What's the media portrays sports betting like what is the fine line how the media portrays sports betting, and where is sports betting going to be in the next 2 to 5 years, do you think?
It's a great question. So I think that the media is kind of, they portray it as like this like really fun, get rich. They do all these videos of like people, getting down tons and tons of money. And in reality, it just isn't that kind of thing. It's more of, if you are a winner, they're going to limit you, not allow you